After an arduous journey in Alberta, Frans made his way back to Regina. He had tried calling the three women he lived with all day but received no response. He was aware that a blizzard had plagued the land of living skies, and the three women had been trapped for a number of days due to the height and depth of snow surrounding them. He was sure of their safety, but still found it odd and slightly troubling that they wouldn't answer. This unfortunate weather condition made it impossible for any of his roommates to pick him up from his job site, so he had to turn to a fellow neighbor and friend, Brennan. Brennan was only able to drive him to the road that eventually led to his home's driveway. From there, he would have to forge the rest of the way by foot. After 10 minutes of hiking through the deep white blanket, he noticed his truck. It appears the women had attempted and failed at an escape. With snow up to the doors of the beast of the truck, it was clearly not going anywhere for a while. He sighed and carried on, wondering if there was enough daylight to get the tractor out and tow his baby to safety. He got closer to the house and saw that Emily's car was also stuck in the snow, just in front of the living room window. He then saw that the tracks made by his truck were made first, and couldn't understand why they would think that the small car could make it where the truck could not. He then turned his attention to the top of the flagpole. What was strange about the everyday patriotic yard decoration was the bright pink bra attached to the top. What the? Things were getting a little weird. At this point, he figured he should probably check on the chickens. He was already outside, and the way things were going, they may need his help. As he got closer, he noticed a peculiar sound. Silence. He opened the door to the little henhouse, not quite prepared for what was inside. The scene was horrific. Blood and feathers in every direction, clear signs of a struggle. All food and water seemed to be absent from the whole slaughter, suggesting they had been fighting for survival. What really tugged at the old man's heartstrings was the one chicken hanging from a little noose made of twine in the center of all the chaos. She had a suicide note gripped in her talons, and all that was written, in chicken scratch, of course, was, "Where was Frans?" A single tear rolled down the cowboy's cheek. He looked to the house, filled with worry at the thought of what was inside. The first thing to hit him when he opened the door was the smell. A strong odor of marijuana and whiskey? He was sure that was it. Lexi, the hardy and loyal German Shepherd, was the second thing to hit him, bobbing up and down, tail wagging furiously as she was barely able to contain her excitement. Where Maya, the young Labrador, was, he could not guess. He could hear the faint sounds of television and what he knew to be snoring, and he made the fatal steps into the kitchen. Scenes from the show Hoarders flashed through his mind as he looked around. They must have used every single dish they owned. Dried oatmeal caked on most, several microwavable popcorn packages scattered around, a half-full container of ice cream on the counter, now melted, and a slight fog over everything. Finally peered into the living room, and there they were, passed out with Golden Girls on the television. It seems they had pulled out the couch and made it into a bed. Emily on the left appeared to be reaching for the bag of Doritos and fell asleep halfway through the task. Maya was licking what remained of the zesty cheese delights off her fingers. Lolita, in the middle, had a nearly finished glass of what appeared to be whiskey and coke in her left hand. Sarah was on the right and had fallen into a slumber while cuddling a pipe and lighter. The phone he had been calling all day was at the foot of the couch bed, clearly too far to be reached, and so Frans stood there, vowing to never leave these helpless creatures alone for any period of time again. And with another sigh, he rolled up his sleeves and began washing the dishes. And how long, you may ask, were these women left alone? 42 hours.